Hello and welcome again to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to be doing series in part describing or telling you about my journey, and from this series we're going to be drawing out some things that are very important for you to do. And so I started my journey to furthering my studies, going for a postgraduate studies to the US. I started it I think in 2021. Then I had applied to a university. I even paid application fee. I think I applied almost close to deadline that period, and because of that, they couldn't waive my application fee. So I paid application fee. I even had to do a direct transcript from my university to them, you know. And then at the end of the day, they were like, "We're sorry, we couldn't give you, or we can't give you an assistantship." And I'm like, "Kilo day," because I had asked them earlier, and they were like, "Yeah, there are opportunities for assistantships and all." So I just discovered that I had little or no information that I was working with. Like I wasn't sure exactly what to do. I just felt like I rushed the entire process. So I decided that I was going to take my time the next time. Like I was going to plan it, and you know, because I realized that usually for you to get some of these big breakthroughs, sometimes they don't jump on you. You have to actually prepare for them, and you do that like in a very long time. So one of the things I did was I planned and I actually prayed about it, and I said, God, I wanted 2023. I needed it to be 2023, you know. So 2022, I closed my mind. I didn't apply for anything. So one of the things I did was I started researching schools. I started trying to, because I was already sure I wanted the United States. And so I started researching schools. I had friends who got admission, I think 2021, 2022. So it made it easier for me to ask them. And I said, okay, so what does the system look like? Right. And this is why you need, to ask questions, to talk to the people that have had these same experiences that you want. There is no harm in, asking questions. And so I asked them, and because of course there are different fields, the thing that would apply to one field may not necessarily apply to another field. So I just got the overview that I needed to start searching for schools and searching out their requirements, which I did. So I started searching for universities. Initially, I did what they call it, a Google search, and that's like the broadest way you can do it. It helps. So I already knew what I wanted, so I searched PhD degree in my course in the United States. It's just going to give you different universities, different courses, different everything. If yours is masters, you can say masters in your course in the United States or in any country that you want, usually, and it's just going to give you the information. That is where you need to take your time. Usually, this is actually where most of the time you will spend. Yes, this is where, because once you are able to shortlist the universities that suit you, every other thing would usually just fall in place and be in alignment. And so you need to take time to research schools. Another place you can search for schools is Masters Portal. Masters Portal also helps to narrow it down. So you can just type in Masters in, you type in the name of the school, and it gives you the variations of that course in different universities. I think there is also find a PhD, find a master's, I think. Yeah, either find a master's or find a PhD. I didn't use this, but I know of Masters Portal and of course Google. And then if you already have a university in mind, you might just go on ahead to, search those universities. So let's say you have a friend who is already in a university and you want to be there, just search the university and look at their requirements if they have your course. But that may be a lot because if they don't have your course, then it's a wasted time. So it may be better for you to search using the course that you're looking for as your keyword. And then after I was able to shortlist about 10 universities, yeah, 10, I think about 10, I had to create an Excel file on my laptop. Sometimes I actually have a diary where I wrote all of them, all the universities, all their requirements. I have it's in my diary because I sometimes like to just look at it and remind myself of, what my application should look like. But then the Excel file was um, the name of the university, my course title as they have it there. If I find maybe a research area that, because you PhDs are usually like research oriented, but if yours is like masters and you don't want to do research, just have a column where maybe you write, what that masters is all about. And then I had there another column for requirements is, are they writing GRE? Are they writing TOEFL? Are they, any of those requirements that is necessary, transcript, CV, just to tie everything together. Another way you can do it is have a column that already has maybe CV, resume, this and this and this, and then you can just keep ticking good for each that applies to each university. I like to type it out so that I see everything. And then you have a column for deadlines. Deadlines are very important. Usually in the United States, schools open their portal like in August, and then deadlines are usually November, December, January max. I think January 15th, most universities are rounding off. For my university, we had about three deadlines because we had priority deadline. Priority deadline are those they consider first for assistantship, fellowships, and scholarships. So the priority deadline was November 1st. That means by October 31st, you should have applied, you should have submitted. And then the normal deadline was December 1st for PhD programs. Then for masters, I think it was extended till January 15th. So just check out these different deadlines. Sometimes is one deadline all through. Sometimes they have early application, normal application, late application, and usually early application they consider you first. Whatever is remaining to the normal, and then the late application you could get, you could not get, and I would not advise you to be there. The next step is the next step now after you've done all of this is to begin to speak to recommenders, your references, those who are going to write reference letters for you. So um I had to do that. I had to start speaking with them early, like this is my plan, you know. And some of them I had good rapport with them from the university, so it made it easy. Like this is my plan, please sir. And because I wasn't even in school anymore at the time, I was already working. So I'm like, sir, this is what I need to do. Sometimes you may just need to call them to check them, check up on them. Hi, good afternoon, sir. How you doing, prof? And stuff like that. Just do it to be on good terms with them because you will definitely need their help. Your recommendation letter speaks a lot for you. It's not one of those documents. It is actually a document that they read and they check what is written there. So tip for your recommendation letter is already have a draft that you want to send to each of these people, because if they are like professors, doctors, people who attend conferences and do a lot of things, they do not have that time. All right. So you don't want to just tell them and leave it to them to think about what to write. Sometimes they don't even know anything about you at that point, especially if you are no longer somewhere that they can gauge what you're already doing at the moment. So I would really advise have a draft for usually graduate school is three. They need three reference letters. So have three different drafts, very standard. I'm going to make different videos talking about what should be contained in each of them. So if this is what you would like, you can let me know in the comment section. And then send them these drafts, have it already well prepared, and just send it to them so that when the universities send them the link to maybe upload or copy and paste, it's very easy for them to do that. Some of them may just give you their email login and say do this for me, and like they don't have that time. So whichever it is, pray. And then another thing that you want to do is find out what each of these schools would require. Like I already said that earlier, but in terms of documents, statement of purpose. Now, for your statement of purpose, if your university has given you a guideline on what they want to see, don't get too creative. Just write exactly what it is they want to see. One thing I've noticed is that in the United States, instruction is instruction. If they tell you, we want to see something about your hobby, don't get creative and say something else. Tell them about your hobby, and that's it. So if they don't have like any specification of what your statement of purpose should be all about, one of the things that you can do is to um, write about yourself. Basically, that's what they want to see. I like to say on my LinkedIn post, I had said a lot about statement of purpose, so you can just check out my LinkedIn page and read up on what it should look like. I like to say it's your own way of saying I'm a hero without saying I'm a hero. It's your own way of praising yourself without necessarily praising yourself. You talk about what you have done. So it's like this. You talk about where you had been, more like your past. You talk about your present, what you're currently doing, and you talk about your future, where you are going to, or your targets. And of course, all these things should be tied along the line of that particular course or that field that you want to study. And then we have other documents like your CV. Usually for masters, it could be a resume, a shorter version, but for PhDs, it's usually an academic series. So they want to see everything literally that you have done, your academics, your technical skills, your soft skills, your professional life, your work. If you already like in the industry, they want to see it. They want to see what you have done. If you have publications, they want to see it. They literally want to see everything about you, right? And so usually it's a CV. So either ways, make sure that your CV speaks so well about you. And in your CV, you do not have to include references there already, because you already have references that are going to submit. So you don't even want to have a section for references. What you want to have is everything that speaks about you and your accomplishments and what you have done. If you have a portfolio, you can attach it there. So that speaks a lot about you. The next step is to figure out the application phase. So, like I said, you have a column for different things, right? Application fee is part of it. You have a column that says this is how much you are meant to pay. So it's usually $70, $65, $80, $100. I don't know if there's any school that is above 120. I'm not sure. But if there is, you need to know it. In some other countries, it's actually not like in the UK. You don't really need to pay application fee, I guess, except very, prestigious or high ranking universities. But in the United States, there is not all, but most actually requires you to pay application fee, and that is where a lot of people have issues. So in my case, I shortlisted 10 universities, but I applied to only two at the end of the day. And that could actually be your case. Like, you don't have to necessarily apply to all 10, but then do not put your eggs in one basket. Mine was a little bit of a peculiar journey. So, I, in fact, my university currently was not even part of the 10 universities I shortlisted. However, when I was looking to apply for a master's degree, my university was part of the universities I reached out to, telling them I wanted to apply to their university for a master's degree, right? But for PhD, it wasn't a part of it. So it was it was just someone shared a flyer saying there is an information session for my course in the university. I'm like, oh really? It's like, how did I not even think about it? If they had masters, they should have PhD. And I attended their information session, and that helped me. So mine is like different. But then the advantage of having these 10 universities is so that you are able to know what suits you best. Some universities will say write GRE, some will say don't write, some will say it's optional, right? My university completely cancelled it. So I was sure, while some will tell you it's optional, they may still require you to want to have it to have an upper edge. So you need to know what this, the nuances are around it. And so for mine, they canceled it completely. So these are the things you need to find out. Always read, always read, always read your university websites, your department's websites, the graduate school website, understand everything about the university. I had made previous videos about this, so you can just check out those videos talking about what to look out for on the university website and the department's website. However, when it comes to application fee, some universities actually waive application fees for different grades of people. Some can say we are waiving application fee for first generation students. So if you're first generation students, like you are the first person going to the university or the first person going to graduate school, you can use that means to apply to find out if they have those criteria to waive application fee. While some just generally waive it for all international students within a time frame. So if you are able to get this information within that time frame, your application would be waived. And then some would say uh, like specific countries or African countries or stuff like that. So find out if there are these criteria. And if you don't see any, always email the program director asking for a waiver, explaining your situation to them. I already have a video on that too. So explaining your situation to them and sending out that email. All right. But then do not forget that you need to have already started your application and save, then you send out that email asking for an application fee waiver. Then, once you have been able to figure out if you're able to pay or not, because see, let me say it here now. Graduate school is not beans. Graduate school is not, it is work. You know the way you go 9 to 5 and you feel like you are tired. Graduate school is work, especially if your program is research intensive. It is work. All right. So you need to even be sure that this one I'm doing, I can, like, you can see it till the very end. If it's masters at your power reach 2 years, please do it. If it's PhD is like 5 years, do it. But if not, just just do the one that your power can carry. So figure out if you can pay this. For mine, I paid for one out of the two I applied. I paid for one and I got an application fee waiver for the other one. So, and the reason why I paid for one was because I did not want to hear story that it's because we gave you people application fee waiver that we did not give you admission. Although that's not usually the case, but I just felt like I needed to, you know, secure this by paying. And already because for some reason I already had this thing that I was going to get this particular, like this is the university for me, right? I already felt that way. And so I wasn't so eager for the other one. I kind of like put in all my efforts in this particular university, my application, my SOP, and all of those things. But then please put very, very good energy into all your applications. Do not use generic application like the same SOP you are just transferring, even if it's the same course. There are certain things you need to tweak, there are certain things you need to adjust. So do not use the same SOP like that and just send out. Sometimes they feel that it's not, because every school has something that is unique about them. So if you are saying this, I like this university because they did this, how about this university? That same thing, does it apply here? So these are the reasons why you need specific statements of purpose that addresses each university and each department very uniquely. And then the next thing that you need to consider after considering if you're going to pay the application fee or not is to then begin to look out for when to apply. Let me also say this before you start even applying to your university, please find out what their scholarship, fellowship, and assistantship process is all about. For my university, if it's masters, I don't think it comes automatically. So you have to maybe do a separate application. But I think for PhDs, and I think this also applies to most PhD programs in the United States, you do not necessarily need to make a different application. It's like similar, once they're giving you, in fact, the guarantee that you have a fellowship or an assistantship with the university is that they actually offer you an admission, and you don't get an admission. It's not because your application was not so great, it's just because they do not have plans to offer you an assistantship. So don't bother. You get? So you need to find out if this applies to your university, and if it does apply, you can go ahead. So, but if it does not, remember, I always say the program director should be your friend. Like the program that you're going into, the director should be your friend. Or you can reach out to an advisor, you can reach out to a faculty member and say, I'm interested in working with you. These are my own ways. This is this. I already have a video on that. So you can always watch and see what the email you're going to send out should look like. And so you need to like be sure so that if it's a case where they are not waiving application fee for you, you cannot see. When I applied, I think dollars was about 700 and something. And so I paid, I think I paid almost 80K. So imagine paying that for 5 universities. That's 400K. And usually you are doing all this application like in the same time frame. So if first of all you're not waiving the application fee for you, check it. If this one is like the exact one you want to go for, then I would say chest it and pay. You get? But if they waive it for you, good and fine. However, when it comes to funding, scholarship, fellowship, assistantships, please, if you are not sure of their pattern, ask. And if they say, oh, for this course, we are not giving, please don't do it. Because, yes, if your parents can fund you, more, well done. But if they can't, because there are a lot of things to consider, really, right? Today, dollar is 1.3, tomorrow is 1.5. So, and we pray that dollar goes down, actually. But then, if it does not, and somehow you know that you cannot do 2 years without proper funding, please don't apply. Don't even bother. Even if they give you application fee waiver, don't bother. That's why I said your the first place you are going to put in your energy is in researching the schools. Have, in fact, I wanted to say a minimum of 5, but yes, do 5 that you are very sure of that everything meets your criteria, and stuff like that. But do 10, then narrow it down because you may not even apply to all 10. I have a friend that applied to 14 universities anyways, got about, I think, 6 to 7 application fee waivers and paid for about 6 to 7, eventually got about 4 to 5 offers. So then you can make your choice, you know. If you have the strength and energy, well done. But if you do not, just conserve your energy, narrow your choices down, and apply. But make sure that you know that these universities you are eventually applying to have assistantships, or you at least are aware of their process. But then it doesn't always mean or guarantee that you would have it. I would usually say go for the ones that straight on they tell you as you are getting this application, as you are getting this admission, it comes with funding. All right. So that's what you should do. Another thing is this one is always important, and I think every university have it on their websites. Announcements of what they call open days, or information sessions. So you either hear information sessions or you hear open day, and it used to be physical, but I think now mostly it's virtual, and that means you can attend from wherever you are. The advantage of this is that you get to hear firsthand from the program coordinators of that course you want to apply to what exactly they are looking for, what each document should say. In fact, it's like first-hand information from them. And then if it's a university that usually say we don't give application fee waivers, usually they have exceptions for students that attended that information session. I know of a school like that. In fact, several schools they would say, um, like send us an email saying that because they already have your record, so they know you attended, and they'll say send us an email that you attended this information session, and we're going to give you an application fee waiver code, or they say something like we are going to share this code uniquely to you, so do not share it with anyone. Stuff like that. They already know those that attended and those that did not. So it's very important for you to do that. It's one way. But these are things you need to already have settled beforehand that these are the dates they do it. And some universities do it at different points in time. Usually, first sessions are around April, May, second sessions are around like June, July. And then I think third session is when they've even opened the portal close to the final deadline. I attended the one for my university, I think August, September, then the application had already been open. So they were doing a final information session to tell everyone. So that was where I felt like this is actually the school that suits me because they were not writing exams. They were not writing, all those. In fact, they clearly said that exam is not even their criteria. So why am I stressing myself? And then I was already preparing to write exams. Why was I stressing? They already said exam is not even what they're looking out for. They were looking out for someone who had the strength to do research. So I knew that this is what I'm going for. So, like I said, make sure that what you are going for is what you have strength to do. If it's not, some universities are not so research intensive. If that's what you want, you will see it, you will know on the university website. They will always say it, and stuff like that. So, make sure to attend your university's information session. Start early, give yourself 1 year gap. So, as at this point in time, it means that what you are trying to apply for is the 2025 admission session, but you are going to do the application in 2024 August, so about January when the portals are open. But it's a time frame that now happens in 1 year. All right. And usually schools reach out like in the February or March of the next year. So you need to give yourself time, and now is your best time to start preparing and gathering your documents. So the information session is very, very important. And then after that, just wait for the university to open up their portal, and then you do your application. Always read instructions when you are doing your application. And yeah, I do hope that this has been helpful to you. As much as I was trying to tell my story, I think I was also trying to tell you, like things to note and things to do that's going to guide your journey. So I'm going to also do another part series telling you about what happens after you have received your admission. And after you've received your admission, the next steps, to follow and stuff like that. And if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe, like, and share. And also let me know in the comment section what part of this you were able to resonate with or where you need help. And if you have anything that you want to ask, please do not hesitate to ask. Put it in the comment section and I'm going to respond. Or send me a DM on LinkedIn. I would always respond. IG, maybe, but LinkedIn and on this comment section, just let me know and I will always respond to you. So see you in my next video. Bye.